So let me get this straight. People are mad at this judge for lowering the bail from 1 million to 250,000 for Karmelo. And now they're talking about she need to be condemned.
Carmelo Anthony just got his bail reduced to $250,000 for a cold-blooded unaliving. That's right, a cold-blooded unaliving. I've never seen this before in my life, and I've been in and out of the system. This is them saying that it's okay for somebody that looks like him to take the life of somebody that looks like us. And you know what the worst part about this is you motherfuckers ain't gonna do anything that look like me. You're gonna sit there and run your mouth. You are going to sit there and just shake your head. What the fuck? This kid deserves to spend the rest of his life in fucking prison. He shouldn't get out. Any charge like that is a $1 million bail. Period. Final. They raised $500,000 for him. He'll be out by the end of the fucking day. Meanwhile, Austin Metcalf will never get a chance to come home. He'll never get another chance to see his family.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren
and I'm Maureen.
So in today's episode, we're going to be tackling a very sensitive case that has been going viral on TikTok, and this was of a Black American teenager who unalived a white teenager at his school, and this he termed as self-defense. Right, this case is especially special because I feel like it has brought division amongst not only white Americans but also Black Americans, because while some people, it's sensitive because of two reasons here. One being that this is a case to deal with teenagers who could be said to be kids, 17-year-old, both of them. The second factor about this case is about race, and most especially because it's a black kid who unalived a white kid. And the question people are asking is, while others are saying that it's unfair because he needs to stand trial while he's still in jail because this is a case about unaliving, others are asking the question, because these are two different races, what did the white kid do in order for the other one to have to defend himself, right? With that question in mind, guys, a life has been lost and the other one is still
well, the other one might be lost to the justice system too. So in retrospect, both lives have been destroyed by this event
in different ways.
Yeah,
guys, so let's watch what we prepared for you and the updates to this case, and then we come back and talk about it. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here, and let us know in the comment section what is your thoughts and opinion on this, right? Let's watch and then we come back.
So update to the update of the Karmelo Anthony case. And y'all, don't you love it when God takes care of things? Yeah. Because that was one of the phrases that Jeffrey Charles Metcalf, who is the father of Austin Metcalf, the unfortunate deceased individual in this situation, stated. But you know one other thing that God also does? He brings that's in the dark to the light. And when you try to disparage someone else's character because, you're trying to uplift the bullshit that you have brought forth. Because remember when he was like, I'm not trying to judge. What kind of parents did this child have? What was he taught? And then you find out, what were you teaching your kids? Because, got him. Not you a whole offender out here. Are you? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This says 2011, right? Them babies is 17, right? And see, the fact of the matter is, the math ain't mathin'. That means them chaps was on this good earth when you did this. So what were you teaching? But here's my thing. We all found it funny that the mom had her own GoFundMe and the dad had his GoFundMe. And I think they said there might be another GoFundMe out there for the son. Why do you all need all this money to do all this? Because it don't take all of that to bury this baby. But here's the other thing. Because y'all was so upset that we were pushing the platform for Karmelo. Please continue to donate, because his legal fees, we need to make sure that those are taken care of. We don't know how long this will go on. But GoFundMe needs to come front and center. Now I did see that that GoFundMe has now been contested. But when y'all gonna pull it? Because we giving money to people on the offenders list now. That's what we're doing. Because they were so quick to talk about, Carmelo Anthony's family receiving the money for his legal defense because of what he is being accused of. But this ain't no accusation. This says you were arrested. Yeah. Now the parents are separated. Don't know. I mean, I don't know. Some people can drag on a separation for years. But it's so funny how you were quick to do this judgment in that goat tea. I peeped that. That God over all things tea. And see, I always, look at stuff like that because I was just like, he seems just a little bit too religious. Then you're going on press tours and whatnot. This one has garnered about $370,000. I think the mom's is up to $600,000. Y'all don't need all that money. And here's the thing. Give where you want to give. Nobody's saying that. But don't step in the way of us continuously supporting the Anthony family and getting the money that they need for his legal defense team.
So let me get this straight. People are mad at this judge for lowering the bail from $1 million to $250,000 for Karmelo. And now they're talking about she need to be condemned. What the fuck are we talking about? Everybody crying about the system, how it be broken, how they just throw young black males under the jail. And now the one time a black male is not put under the jail, everybody looking confused. Let's be real for a second. This man is only 17 years old. He have no prior charges. He is not a flight risk. He said this was an act in self-defense. I'm not saying he's innocent, but a bond is not about guilt. It's about whether you can fight your case from the outside. So the question is, what is it? Do we want fair treatment or do we just want punishment? So was she wrong for not being a bot and showing some humanity? If this was the system we all asked for, being balanced and thoughtful and not just throwing kids up under the jail, why are we trying to cancel this judge when all she's doing is doing her job? But people is trying to make it a race thing. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts down below in the comments.
I wasn't going to speak on this at first, but I think I have to. My favorite thing that Carmelo Anthony's lawyer said is that bond is not supposed to be a punishment. Because I feel like a lot of y'all failed to realize that and wanted that boy to be punished before he was even proven guilty. And another thing, he said when this evidence comes out, I think all of y'all judgments will be different. We've only heard one side of the story. That should tell you everything you need to know. I jumped for joy when I heard the news earlier today. Because Carmelo Anthony deserves to be at home with his family. He was put in a tough situation, and as a 17-year-old child, he acted out of fear. And I just don't understand how y'all cannot see that. Then y'all crazy tales still want to bring up the fact that they raised almost $500,000. Then y'all crazy tales want to talk about, oh, his family has more than enough to bail him out with his $1 million bond. Okay, and y'all want them to struggle. Y'all literally want for it to be unfair for this family, and it's really sick because y'all don't even know that this boy is guilty. Shout out to his lawyer, shout out to their team, shout out to the judges, and let's keep on raising awareness and keep on praying for this boy and his family and justice to be served.
So Carmelo Anthony's bond has been reduced, and y'all are celebrating this boy going on house arrest until his trial because y'all support people who... Isn't it weird that, like, after all this time in America and all the strides we've made, we've now taken 30 steps back? Because anybody that takes someone else's... I know y'all value, the abortion clinics and things of that nature, so human life is not at the top of your priorities. But it is one of the 7 deadly sins. So why do y'all celebrate it? Now that he's been allowed to leave jail and be on house arrest, I don't know what good that serves because clearly he didn't grow up in an environment that actually, penalized hurtful behavior. But it's weird to see people celebrate this when a boy lost his life and was just buried. It's not a good thing, America. It's Texas, you have failed. And I've said it, Florida's the standard in America. Texas has been lost from the border issue to the governor. Texas is done.
When it comes to white people and violence, they always find a way to justify their actions. Even if it's clear as day that they're in the wrong, they are still going to try to find a way to justify the atrocities that they commit to non-white people, especially us. And not only that, they have the media to help them spin that narrative. And then once that narrative is spinned, then they go and then the laws that be either give them a slap on the wrist where they serve very low sentence, or they get parole, or they don't serve the full sentence and the rest of the time is dismissed because of good behavior. Whereas us, we're not seen as human. And when we do have to resort to violence against them in self-defense, even if it's on camera, we're still guilty. We're guilty before we even go to trial. And not only that, we have that same media spinning that narrative. And then the same people that justified an act of violence, they then troll us online. How dare we defend ourselves? How dare we fight back? I said before in many of my videos that we are not our ancestors. However, I stand corrected because our ancestors did fight. They fought back a lot, so much so that the slave owners were afraid of them. But that history wasn't taught. And with that history not being taught, we didn't know that our ancestors fought back, and they didn't know that we will fight back. So here we are in a system that has always been against us, and we have just sat and taken it. And now the tides are turning, and we're fighting back when our backs are against the wall. No, we're not going to march, but if you step onto our territory and threaten our lives, we're not going to sit back and take it and stand in a corner and cry. We're going to band together and fight back. Which brings me to this point. White people, white supremacy, Christianity, and the government are all under this umbrella of narcissism. That's the only way this makes sense to me in my mind. Because you have been playing this game for a very long time. You have been throwing rocks at us, then hiding your hand and playing the victim. But now, in 2025, you're throwing them rocks and we're catching them and throwing them back. And now you're confused as to why you're injured and hurt. We are our ancestors. And we will continue to keep fighting. So you need to have a conversation with yourselves and y'all's entitled children to leave us the fuck alone.
All right, guys, so you guys know that I've been trying to find a lawyer who is not biased in this case to break this stuff down from a legal standpoint. I've been trying to find someone so hard that is not so much on Anthony's side, not so much toward, capital murder on the Metcalf side, just somebody who can speak truth to what the legal standpoint is based on what we know thus far. And I have found that person is the Defiant Lawyers Network over on YouTube. Because all he's doing is laying out the facts as far as we know it. Now, he uploaded a second video about the case today, and he talked about why he believes that Karmelo Anthony may not get a fair trial in Collin County, and it's based on a statement that was made by the head of the police department down there.
Karmelo Anthony is presumed to be innocent. He is presumed to be innocent. So right now, under the law, Karmelo Anthony is presumed innocent. He is not convicted of this. He has not pled to this. A jury has not found him guilty of this. So right now he is under the law as innocent as you and I are. And so saying this here from the chief of police of all people was bad.
Now, on top of that, he also goes into other charges that the defense team for Karmelo Anthony can try to shoot for that, of course, is lesser than the capital murder charge that he's up against, and even if he has a self-defense claim based on Texas law. So I'm going to play you guys a small little snippet, but I want you guys to go over on YouTube to the Defiant Lawyers Network to see his full breakdown. It's really interesting.
This is a statement that was given by the chief of police. And I'm not going to read all his statement, but I'm going to read this first paragraph because I don't like it, to be honest with you. He says, this week, our Frisco community suffered the devastating loss of one of our young residents because of a senseless act of violence. You see, when the chief of police puts that out there like that, a senseless act of violence. Well, we don't know that to be the case yet. This is the police's side of the story. We don't know if it was a senseless act of violence. It may turn out to be, but we don't know it. It's premature to say all of that right now, which is why I'm not getting into the facts at all, or at least I'm not going to characterize the facts as true as the evidence is being true or not true, because I don't know. I wasn't there. As an attorney, we don't jump to conclusions like that. We like to get our hands on the discovery from the state and, of course, do our investigation, talk to all the witnesses, get all the videos, get all of that, and then we're able to say what the facts are and what the facts are not. So if I don't do that in our cases, I'm not going to do that in someone else's cases. So I think it was premature, and it likely makes it more difficult for Karmelo to get a fair trial in Collin County when the chief of police is on the record, on the written record, saying it was a senseless act of violence. And that in and of itself can, taint the jury pool. It can give rise to community anger and so on. I don't like that.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos you just played in the comment section. Personally, when I was following this story, it's really hard for you to not judge, or let me speak for myself. I really could not judge, especially because this is a very serious case and it ended up with one losing their life. And personally, I was telling myself, what is it that you had to do for you to aggravate a person to have to defend themselves, And I hear that the father of the victim came out to speak, and he was questioning the bringing up of the black boy. That was until a black creator on TikTok went on and uncovered that the father to the boy who lost his life also has a criminal conviction of SA, And so they bounced the question back to him and asked, because he was asking how the black boy was raised, they were asking how did he raise his boy, And it's just, to be honest, it's a sad situation. As I say, a life was lost, and I also have to point this out, that the victim had a twin brother, okay? And me being a twin especially, I really feel for the family, Not to say that we are ignoring what happened, And I do feel like amidst all this noise, people should remember that these are two families that have been gravely affected by this event, and they should stop blaming both kids for how when kids are raised up, it does bring or it impacts the outcome of who they become.
And today, I think my parting shot would be, I really truly do believe and do feel like both families are justified in asking for justice, and in Karmelo's case, his family is justified in asking for a fair trial, you get. But we also, as outsiders looking in, should remember that these are two families that are hurting right now, and that anything that the internet says ultimately, because we do have to remember that a family has lost a child, and this child will never come back again. They'll never get to see him move around the house. They'll never get to see him breathe like how we are breathing right now. So with these things being put to consideration, I do feel like both families are justified in asking for what they're asking for. Austin's case, his family is justified in asking for justice because their son was unalived, and for Karmelo's case, his family is justified in asking for a fair trial, and this because of the fact that he didn't deny he did the crime. All they're asking for is fairness in assessing the crime.
As I'm sure all this will be put into consideration, hopefully the system does what it's supposed to do the right way and with a lot of considerations. Keeping in mind, we have to think about the mental capacity of both kids during that time that the crime happened. You know, they have to look at the mental capacity of both of them. Other than that, guys, I don't know what you have to say about this case. Let us know in the comment section as usual. We want to thank you so much for joining us on this episode, and we'll catch you on our next.